Oh, what's going on, people? So, it's been a long while since I did one of these lives. According to what my little YouTube studio thing says, just about 3 months, like right under, like a few days under. So, I took that little break away from doing all this YouTube stuff. And then when I did start doing it, like I just didn't have a reason to do any lives. And I'd never really seen a reason to just like jump on here and just have no real thing to talk about. So I just didn't do any. There's also like, doing other stuff with my time or whatever. But this is the one that I've been wanting to do for a while. And then I kind of lost some time since I ran off to do some family trips and whatnot. So this right here, as you can see from maybe like the thumbnail or whatever, got a bunch of Air Maxes here, right? I'm an Air Max sort of guy. I don't know if I've ever really said that or whatever. And so through all of March, which in a lot of places is known as Air Max month, these are the ones that I ran through, right? Because I only wear those for that month, right? It just makes sense to me. So I'm gonna share some of the ones that I went through, which is basically all the ones that I went through while I sit here and talk to whoever shows up about whatever people care to talk about. So let's go ahead and get through this because I feel like this could take some time. Like I don't know if you guys are seeing that, but there's a bit of these, right? But anyways, so let's see what's going on over here. Make sure this chat setting thing is right. Because otherwise, if you don't like click on live chat, then you're only gonna see like I don't know. You don't see everything for some reason. YouTube or StreamYard, one of these things is weird. This this is an Air Max 2012. I don't have a whole lot of these, and honestly, like looking back at it, it's not really like my favorite model. It was kind of cool in some ways, because it had all this like stuff happening. But I guess as time goes on and you see like a bunch of other ones, you guess you just kind of start to look at some stuff, and you're like, you have more things to kind of rack and stack with. And this one, I don't know. It's not terrible, It's just it isn't great, though. It is in pretty good condition considering it's 10 years old, right? So there is that. But that's mostly just because wearing my shoes is not the easiest thing to get through. And so these are also broken down by like whenever, like the weeks and stuff. So week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I do a lot of running, right? And this particular time, whatever I was going through in my life, I wanted to go with pretty much just these Vapormax 2s. I don't have any Vapormax 1s, which is kind of weird to me. I remember wanting this blue Orbit pair, I think it was, but for whatever reason, I just never got around to getting them. And then when the 2s came out, I picked up some of those and so on and so forth. But yeah, the two, I mean, the one just never got any. But this Spider-Man pair, this is definitely a favorite for sure. Mr. Mevin, what's going on? I might be down in your neck of the woods next month. McFly's wedding is next month. I think whenever it is. I need to look at like the email again, see what's going on with that. But yeah, the VaporMax 2, it was probably, as far as straight VaporMax models, probably my favorite. Though I think the 3 had some better colors, something like that. Yeah, a couple of those. And moving along. I also just recorded my quarterly pickups video right before this. So that was me sitting next to a bunch of shoes again, right? So the Air Max 2 Lite, right? Now, I don't think these are like the most popular thing for whatever reason, but like the 5 people that I know that have one of these really like them. It's just that the other millions of people that I know that wear Air Maxes, this is one that just never quite made it into their hands for whatever reason. And this one is supposed to be going to my brother. I just kind of keep forgetting to send it to him. I've sent him a bunch of other stuff. So he's got a nice little collection going on now. And the whole reason I even bought this one was so I could do a review just since I felt like I had more subscribers and stuff. I thought maybe if I do another one, that'll kind of help get the word out there now. And it kind of worked. So I bought these just so I could do a review. And then I figured I'll send them to him after I at least give him a wear, maybe two. And that's kind of where things are. I've worn them twice. This must be the Dawn, right? Yeah. So this is one of Nike's newer Air Max models, right? The Air Max Dawn. And it doesn't look like a whole lot. And the price is pretty low too. What is it, 110? Yeah, 110. but this is probably one of my favorite newer things that they've done in a while, you know? I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and act like it's like the best thing ever, you know, it's not like leaps and bounds above anything else that I have, but the simplicity of it works. You know, the color, this particular color, it's like it's fine, but I've seen some better ones. I just wanted to see what they were all about. But really, it's just like the overall feeling of these. Like the comfort is pretty solid for what it is. I like them a bit more than the what's that, the pre-day. It's not like a huge night and day difference, but you know, we all have our preferences. And this one, this is just a good one, and especially at 110 when these things start flooding the shelves because they're trying to get out more colors, and those deep discounts start coming around. Probably thinking these just came out in March, so maybe like another month or so when all those other colors start popping up, and you can find these for probably like 70 to 80. I would say like definitely jump on them then. Right now, like there's no point in running out and getting a pair because paying retail for something that's going to be on sale in like a couple weeks or whatever, like a month or two, yeah, there's no real reason, right? So I would wait, but definitely keep your eyes on the colors that you like, so you at least know when they're going on sale or whatever. But that's how I feel about those, you know. And again, not trying to like oversell it, but it's just a thing that I'm into. And he says looks comfortable though. Yeah, right. That's the thing. And again, you'll see the pre-day in a minute. I think that's in the third stack there. Let's see. At some point, I mean, it's also today. It was kind of rainy, and that's when I break out stuff like this. This is the Vapormax Utility, right? Like I think this is the first model that they did as far as Vapormax Utilities go. So you know, it's got all that weather resistant, like water resistant type stuff going on. It's got some extra reflective type things, you know. So if you're going to be out at night, otherwise, like it's very much just your standard stuff. There's nothing special on the bottom like some other shoes or whatever. So these though, I do like that this little adjustable thing that they have on here. It's kind of like a lot of trail shoes, what they did with that. And you know, you got that fly wire sort of thing. So when you tighten up the shoe, it kind of tightens down all around. Yeah. These are really nice. I have like three pairs of these things. I kind of wish I had bought some other colors, you know, just because it does rain a lot here when you're living out on these coasts and whatnot. But I did end up getting like some, and you'll see them in a minute, some other utility shoes over the time. So it's not bad to, you know, not have as many as I want because I have other stuff. Keep forgetting to use this pen option. I got Vapormaxes last week. The only reason I would have gotten them was by your review. Thanks and God bless. Which ones did you get? And appreciate you watching and all that good stuff. I will say, like one of the things for me, let me leave that on the screen while I'm talking about it. It's always like gives me mixed feelings when people say that they bought something after watching one of my videos because it's like if they bought, especially when they just say they ordered it, you know, because then I'm like, man, like if they don't like this in a way, I feel responsible, you know. So that's just kind of how I feel sometimes when people bring that up. It happens every so often, you know, but lots of times people say like after the fact, like, oh man, like you suggested these, and you know, based on me saying I like them and I got a pair and like I've been wearing them every day for the last month. They're fantastic. And it's like, all right, cool. This guy's on board with them. Good. I feel like I didn't waste their money. These, speaking of waste of money in some ways, the Vapormax 20 is not one of my favorite things. And it really just comes down to this, that box up that they have up there. So with these right here, right, it's cool. It's like on paper. I'm like, man, that's pretty all right. You know, you got this thing. Maybe you heard that. It kind of locks it in place. Then you pull this and it clicks and it releases, right? But the thing is, and these aren't a running shoe, but if you run in them, this is super annoying. Like, cause it's just like in a bad spot on your foot if you're running. And then these lines down the side are also pretty stiff. So also not comfortable. And then you combine that with just, again, from a running standpoint, walking, you probably don't notice it as much. But then also these shoes, like I said, they're not made for that. You know, the way the knitting is and all that stuff. Walking around in them just as a daily casual wear, not as bad, right? But that was definitely like a bit of a problem to me. Though some of the colors are pretty decent, I'll give them that. It's just I'm glad they got rid of that the next year around. You know what I'm saying? Because this was just You know how like when you like something, like you like a series, a model, whatever it is, and then they bring out the new one, and the way they change it makes you not like it, and you're like, you took one of my favorite things from it, basically, you know. But then you look at this one, the 21, and all the complaints that I had, they made improvements on. Hey, vlogging with Demetrius. Let's see. He says, I love them, and your review was very accurate. All right, fantastic. I try to be honest and still accurate because, you know, like it can be easy to like something and want to, you know, kind of feel like talking it up or whatever, but you got to still be, you know, unbiased or whatever. And vlogging with Demetrius. What's going on, man? This guy right there, he does have a YouTube channel. You know, if you search it out, you'll find him. Should pop right up. But these right here are like all the things that I didn't like about the 20, they changed with the 21. And this color right here has always been a favorite. This like gray and I think they call this liquid lime. But yeah, this gray and neon green or whatever. I've always been a huge fan of that combination, right? But these pretty solid. Again, like if you're gonna wear these just as casual wear or whatever, definitely something to go with for sure. Nowadays they have the 21, which I don't have any 21s over here. I mean the 20, 22. Yeah, no. This is the 21. Excuse me. They have some other 21s that I got like recently, which are like the Black and University Golds. For some reason, I was thinking that was a different model because it just felt like it's been so long since I bought those. But no, they're the same model. Okay, this one right here. This is this is one where I have some mixed feelings on the Air Tuned Max, right? There was another color of these, like it was like bronze and like a little bit of green, and I think there was some black on there. It's kind of it had a lot of colors that remind me of the Dorenbecker sevens, you know, the ones that had like the guitar style design. And I kind of wanted those, but you know, it just didn't happen for whatever reason. Probably because I could only find them for retail, and I like to buy Air Maxes under that because it's crazy to me to buy an Air Max at retail price, right? It just is because they're so mass produced normally. But anyways, these right here, right? I really like the way that they look, especially like this particular color. I like this beige and this little gray and all that. Just a little bit of this like iridescent green. It kind of reminds me of like the Air Max Plus 3 as far as like the bubble style goes and all that good stuff. But the problem, and you can kind of tell if I angle this right. Actually, let me get this off the screen for a second. They're just a little bit narrow, right? So that's going to be a problem for some people. And I thought maybe they would just kind of break in if you wear them a bit. But because of these materials and stuff, you're probably just better off going up like a half a size because there's not a whole lot of give going on here, you know? But they do look pretty nice if you find the right color. It's just that sizing thing, which kind of takes some points away from the comfort at times, you know? That's kind of the part where it puts them into like a gray area where it's like, I want to recommend them, but if you can like get a pair and try them on first, you know, that's kind of like where it comes down to for me. With other stuff, you know, like those Dawns I just had, yeah, I'll recommend those no problem to anybody that just wants something comfortable to walk around in. But these, just because of how wrong it could go for some people, just can't just straight up do it. Oh yeah, no problem, man, no problem. And then there is Gabe O, aka Cali Kid 619. Are you related to Mysterio? He's always talking about that 619 thing. I don't think it's in his name though. I actually just saw him like 2 weeks ago at WrestleMania. Went to WrestleMania, you know, that was fun, you know, over at the Cowboys Stadium in Dallas, right? Or technically it's Arlington. None of the events that happened in for WrestleMania weekend in Dallas, I don't know if any of them happened in Dallas. Well, no, NXT was because that was at the Mavericks. Is it the Mavericks? Dallas? Yeah, it's at the Mavericks Stadium. So this right here, it's a favorite of a lot of people, and I totally get why. That as in the Air Max 90, right? Now, it's not really one of my top tier Air Maxes personally, but I get why people like it. I've got nothing against it, right? I'm not going to talk it down. It's just that from a visual standpoint, I like a lot of other Air Maxes more than these, though the comfort largely is pretty universal, right? So that's why it just kind of comes down to what you like visually, at least to me. But these right here, this was one that I really wanted. And I don't know what was going on with, what was this, 2020, right? Yeah, in 2020, when they were doing a lot of these Air Max releases, some of them would like pop up in one place and then nowhere else. And then like months later, they pop up somewhere else. Like these had a very small release on the Nike site. And then it was probably like 2 months later or something, they popped up everywhere else. And then you can find them like, it's like buying Captain Crunch, right? You just go into the store and there it is. But for that first while, it was sketchy, man. So luckily I got a pair in like the first wave of releases. So again, they're general release. So with that kind of thing, sometimes you just got to be a little patient. But yeah, it was weird. And they put out so many Air Max 90s that year because it was the 30th anniversary. And what's crazy is like they all sold pretty well, you know? I mean, eventually they're not all going to fly off the shelves because they made like a pair every 2 weeks, but you know what I'm saying. So, oh, see, Sean has that pair. Yeah, it's a good choice. Like, it's very vibrant. I don't know how it came off on the camera. So, the Air Max 2009, right? This is one of my favorites right here. Like, uh, would it be top five? I don't know. I'd have to revisit that because some other models have come out since then or whatever. But this is one of the ones where like I was really into the Air Max line at that point, so there's a bit of a nostalgia attached to that. But I also just like how simple it is, but they did have some really good colors as well at the time. So this one, just like your plain black and white or whatever, you know. But I have like an orange pair, have like some green Volt pair, you know. But these, I kind of wish they'd bring back more of the Air Maxes like this, you know, like the yearly releases that they used to do. Just kind of bring back a couple every so often. I've seen some 2017s pop up, but you know, I don't think the 2017 was really like that high on my list. You know, you'll see a pair in a little bit here though, because you know, through Air Max month, I cover a lot of ground, like as far as different models and stuff. Trying not to repeat anything too much, but I still didn't get around to everything. Like I didn't wear any flares. I don't think I wore any zeros. uh, I didn't wear my 97 pluses. There are a couple other things that I didn't get around to my 2021s. You know, there's a fair amount of them. This is the Air Max 97 Winter Utility. So you can kind of tell it's got like some rugged sort of thing going on down there around the bottom and all that good stuff, right? Same stuff up here, normal winter style things, you know, kind of keep your feet warm and all that, give you some extra insulation and still keep your feet dry too, which is also a good thing. But yeah, these right here and the reflective part going on out there, and of course all around on the side because they are Air Max 97s. That's just how those are built. But yeah, this I remember buying these, and I actually got these just a little bit early because where I was living, they came out there early for some odd reason. I remember they also put out. I don't have that pair over here, but there's another pair. Like it's in like a goldish brownish sort of color. You'll see something similar in a minute here, I think. But I bought those in 97s as well, and that was also one of the few 95s that I liked because I'm not an Air Max 95 guy. I could just never get into the way those look. But they made a pair to match up with those, right? Because it was like a simultaneous release, 95 and 97 utilities. And that 95, I was like, man, if I was a 95 guy, like this would be like right on my list right now. And going back to like I said, you know, doing the running and all that stuff. So that's where these come in. This being the multicolored three, or what do they call it? The Air Vapormax Flynet 3. Yeah, the Vapormax Flynet 3. And then this one, some kind of like gray and Volt. Because like I said, I do like that color. And then there's one more over here. This one happens to be in the box because certain shoes I keep out on a shelf where they're just ready to go. And then other ones, you know, I mean, I only have so many shelves. But I do also have this South Beach color, right? And this one I do really like. It's not as high up as I think like that multicolor one. That's probably going to be the favorite. But it's hard to kind of turn down one of these South Beach colored things, you know? especially when you come into like an Air Max. I mean, this is just really nice, you know? And again, even though the Vapormaxes kind of took a turn from being running shoes, these were one of the last ones that you could run in and it not be terrible. I remember I did a running comparison review with the Flyknit 3s and the Ultra Boost 4.0. I think that would have been the right time for that. And I remember running like a lot that day because I think I like ran a mile in like one shoe and then like the other shoe, like one model, then the other model. Then I ran like another bit, like with like one of each, just to kind of do some kind of comparison there. Yeah, it was a tiring day, but in the end, as much as I wanted the Vapormax to win, it did go to the Ultra Boost because when it came to like corners, that was not so great, and the break-in time on older Vapormaxes is not good. It takes some attention. Whereas the Ultra Boost right out of the box, you're pretty much good, and from there they just go up. This is the pre-day. I was talking about these a little earlier, saying that I kind of like the Dawn more than these. They're both built very much the same, can't really say they aren't. It's just it gets a little different back here. It's got all this stuff going on, whereas the Dawn was more of like what you see on the front, just kind of back here enclosing this, right? And then the upper though, that's kind of like the thing that I just wasn't really a huge fan of on these. The way this material is here, this mesh, it just felt a little bit more restrictive than I wanted it to. But again, when I look at this compared to the Dawn, it's not like a night and day difference. It's just like I just happen to like what that's doing a little bit better. I'd say kind of like how some people would say, oh, I like Wendy's more than Burger King or whatever. Like they're both doing a lot of the same stuff, just kind of comes down to you as a person. Let's see. But yeah, I mean, it's a comfortable shoe still, it's just that overall, right? Like taking everything into consideration, including the price, because these are about $40 more. How much are these? These don't have a tag on the side. I want to say these are 150, could be 160, and the Dawn is only 110, right? So if you're looking at two things that are like of similar comfort, and take the look aside, I'd probably go with the cheaper one, right? I would think to anyway. And it just so happens in this case that I like the cheaper one overall more. But yeah, it's not terrible, so don't take me talking down on it like the wrong way. I would definitely suggest trying both of them for yourself and seeing which one you like more. But, it is what it is. You can't go wrong with either. So I just throw out my personal thoughts. Okay, let's see. Pre-days or Retropees? Which Retropee are you talking about? The E5 or the P9? While you answer that, I'm going to talk about these Air Max 97 in winter wool, right? So you can kind of see that. Hopefully that's coming out in there, right? Got a little wool down there on the bottom, and then also in the upper liner here, mixed in with some leather type of stuff going on, and up there on the tongue as well. I have these in Air Max 90s as well, right? Or is it a 1? Maybe it's a 1. I think it's a 90 though. Either way, sometimes when you like something enough, you buy both versions of it. So I have these in multiples, because of that Air Max 90 or 1, whatever it is. But this is one that I really like just because the colors are cool. 97s are definitely a top 5 favorite for me as far as Air Max models go. And this one, I don't know, it's a little different. So I don't know that I've seen anybody wearing a pair of these. My mom also has the 90s because, I buy her some of the stuff that I buy myself because I know she'll like it or whatever. But these right here, man, this is one I like to break out. Unfortunately, I only wear my winter shoes during the winter months because that makes sense to me, which means I usually only get like one wear in per year, which is definitely a drawback to having a large collection. People are often like, oh, I want to have a big collection too. I want to get all as many shoes as whatever. Don't do it. It's completely unnecessary. The 5. Oh, okay, the 5. What was the question though? The pre-day? Oh, yeah, easily the 5. And I'm, again, so the P5, E5, it's a P9, the E5, the Retropee E5, it's an Adidas shoe for those that don't know, right? So that is one that I picked up because it seemed cool, right? It's like, okay, it's got like an older retro style look going on here. It's got some boost in there, which is also very cool. Let's see how this works out, right? The only thing that I didn't, well, I'm gonna say I didn't like, but I expected the color to be different in person than it was. But when I got the color in hand, I was like, okay, this is actually a little better than I expected it to be because it's not what I thought it was. Even though what I thought it was would have been fine because I was like, yeah, this one's cool. But it's actually cooler. It's kind of like an Arctic orange sort of color almost, you know? I forget what they called that. But yeah, those I was thinking about getting another pair, like it's like my concert shoes, but I ended up going with the P9 because it just made sense. It's black, it's a similar sort of thing, just need something that I can stand around in while I'm watching whatever band do whatever they do. And if something gets spilled on it, it doesn't matter, right? And I'll still be comfortable. That's the goal all the time. These right here, this is kind of the color of those, let me see, sepia stone, that's what it is. So these I have in this color as well. And this is the color that I saw in those 95s that I was saying that I liked. So to bring that back. But these right here, this is an Air Max 200, right? Winter 200. I am cool with these. I think they look pretty all right. The comfort is nothing amazing, and it seems like most people overall, I don't even know if they are aware of the 200 because I like never see these. Every so often, like one will pop up or something, but not commonly, not at all. But this is one that I was cool with. It's got a nice little look to it with like the brown, the tan, whatever you want to call that, the orange. So yeah, and I got them on some kind of pretty good sale because it's the thing that people don't really buy. You know what I'm saying? For whatever reason, they just, I don't know, like I used to, and I still do, but more so back then. I used to go on like Nike.com or Foot Locker or those sites, and I just go to the sale section and just filter out like what's in stock or what's in stock and on sale in size 9.5. And if you look at like my 2019 reviews, that's probably where everything came from, because it's cheap and it's usually something that like you can find in like a couple colors and you can pick the one that you like without having to do all the extra hassle of like going through, raffles and all that stuff. I don't want to have to work too much for the things that I get, I guess is what I take away from that. This is also an Air Max 90, right? So this is the winter wheat, as they call it. You can see in the picture there on the screen, it's got a little wear to it. This is one of the older pairs that I have. So even though they only come out probably like once a year at this point, back when I got these, which would have been 2016, I'm thinking. Yeah, 2016. I didn't have as many shoes as I have now. Don't ask how many because I don't know. But back then, I probably could have counted and given you like a rough number within 5. But nowadays, not so much. But these right here, this is one that I really, really like. Even though I'm not a big 90s guy, like I was saying, this one, I just like this wheat thing they have going on. And maybe part of it is because, like, as much as I like the wheat thing, like, I think this is the only shoe that I have in that color. So that kind of makes it a little more special or whatever in some kind of way. Okay. Let's see here. Try to get these things over here without like knocking over too much. It's not as easy, sometimes because it's just like they don't want to cooperate. But it is what it is. So this is going to be a Vapormax 360, right? Hey Tito, what's going on, man? How's everything been going with you? Yeah, this is like I tell you, man, like I took a break from all this YouTube stuff. This is my first live in like 3 months. I think in the last 3 months, I've probably watched as many lives, So I'm trying to get back into the swing of things. You know what I'm saying? The Vapormax 360, as you see right about here, right? One of those is a 360. The other one is just the standard 360. Many moons ago, 2006, the Air Max 360 is what got me into Air Maxes, and getting into Air Maxes is what got me into shoes in general, right? So there's this summed up backstory. And so when they brought these out, I was a big Vapormax guy already. So I'm thinking like, if they're going to bring back the thing that got me into this whole thing, right? and kind of modernize it just a little bit. How could I not get that? Well, you know how I could not get that is because these things were $225, right? But, you know, thanks to some sort of in-store discounts or whatever was going on, I was able to get these under that. But can you believe that? $225 for this. Like, that's what Nike thought people should pay. That was their suggested retail price. Why? Why? It's like the Vapormax itself, even nowadays, isn't that much. Maybe like because of this like fake leather type crap they have going on up here and all this good stuff, but I don't know. It was a terrible price choice in my eyes, but you know, I sucked it up because even though I don't like paying a lot for things, if it's something that I truly want, then, or it can be like a stepping stone to something I truly want, then, okay, I'll let it slide. But I also make up for it by buying a lot of stuff like this. So this here being, you know, standard Air Max Plus, right? Nothing special about it. It's just in a color that I like, which is, you know, just typical black and red. So, and also the other thing about the Air Max Pluses is like, sometimes you got to get up on them before you really know what you're getting into, because the upper can be a little bit different. Like comparing, say, these to my frequency packs. I don't know if anybody remembers the frequency pack. It's like a black and yellow thing. It's got like a little tape, cassette tape on the inside designed in there. Either way, very different, right? They're both comfortable. And then like when I look at, say, like my anthracite pair, not as comfortable because the mesh is like stiff on there, right? So, moral of that story, if you're looking at a pair of Air Max Pluses, look closely before you jump into it because they're not all the same. But anyways, these right here, I was able to get them on some kind of sale or whatever. I think this pair came from like Duluth or something because they wrote that on the thing. Yeah, it's like, thank you, Team Duluth, from whatever store this was, probably Champs or something. But yeah, so these right here, pretty cool. I like them a lot, you know, as far as the model goes. And it's rare that I buy a black and red shoe, only because I just don't get a lot of black and red shoes. I don't know. Nothing against them. It just doesn't happen, you know? It's weird. Because it's like a color that's actually pretty popular, right? It says, all good, brother. Hope all. Yeah, man. I got no complaints, you know? I mean, this rain thing I could do without, but actually, did it stop? Okay. I take that back. It seems to have stopped. I'm supposed to go fix some network things later today or whatever. So that might actually happen now that the rain has gone. So 2014, they were making these kind of like a Flyknit Air Max. They called this the Flyknit Max. I think it was called the Flyknit Max. Yeah, the Nike Flyknit Max. So this right here, also a expensive shoe. I think this was 220, right? 225s. Okay, same as those Vapormaxes. Now, here's the thing about how I managed to get these, and I'll share a little bit of a tip with some of you guys that are listening to me. So I was getting into this area where, you know, it was closed, and so I ended up popping my Air Maxes on a fence that I was climbing at the time, right? So I happened to call Nike, and I'm like, hey, like my shoes are messed up. Like, can I send these to you to be fixed or something, right? Because it was an Air Max 2011. Remember the ones that had like the crisscross grid design. So I'm like, yeah, can I send these to you and have them fixed? And they're all like, well, send them to us and we'll see what, you know, we can do and maybe we can get them replaced for you. And so I sent them to them and they're like, all right, cool, everything's. We see that they were damaged by like non-malicious activity or something. So what they did, because it was within 2 years of the manufacture date's always going to be right around there, sometimes on the inside over here. Since they were within 2 years of that date, they sent me a voucher for the retail price of the shoes that I had, you know, damaged climbing that fence. So I forget what that was. More than likely, it's probably like 160 to 180 because I think that's the price of a retail Air Max 2011 back in 2011. And the cool thing is, like, I hadn't bought the shoes from Nike themselves. I probably bought them from like Finish Line or Champs or Foot Locker or whatever. But they don't care about all that. I sent them the shoes. They gave me a voucher for Nike.com for the value of whatever. And so I threw that down with whatever I needed to cover the cost and picked up these things right here. So there you go. If you ever happen to have a pair of Air Max that goes out on you, consider getting in touch with Nike, and they might help you out with that. They won't get you a new pair of those, whatever you messed up, but they can at least give you something, right, for your troubles. So there you go. Now, moving along. The Air Max 96, right? This right here, this is definitely one of the ones that was a little polarizing for me because it's like, I like to try new Air Max models, but it also looks crazy bulky. And I will say, much like the, what's that thing that says Air on the side? Scottie Pippen wore them. You guys know what I'm talking about. The up-tempos, the Air up-tempos, right? The Air up-tempos, much like these, seem bulky. But once I wore them, they didn't feel as bulky as they looked. So I was like, okay, this is actually pretty decent, right? So when I was wearing these, and normally I don't do any repeats through Air Max month, but certain shoes like that I bought that were new to me model wise, I wore throughout the week. So throughout the whole Air Max month, for each week, I bought a new model, minus week 5 because that was a Nike Bayou thing. But the first 4 weeks, bought a new model, wore it all through the week outside of work or whatever, just so I could break them in. And these, I actually really enjoyed wearing these like a lot. You know what I'm saying? So if they're looking like something you may not want or whatever, because they look a little bulky and a little heavy, well, they are heavy, but looking like they're a little much as far as like the amount of shoe it is, consider at least trying them on, or just take advantage of Nike's fairly generous return policy, which I think is between 45 and 60 days from like date of shipping, something like that. So the Air Max 96 2, it's like the Air Max 96 Junior or something. Let's see, what's in this box? Oh man, these right here. This was one of my really early reviews. You can kind of see like the 3M stuff to some extent kind of popping in there. This is the Air Max 1 Safari Reflective SE, something to that effect is what they call these. So, and I think you can't quite see it a little, if I hit the right angle, even the swoosh has a little bit of that Safari design going on. There it is. So you got a little bit of that Safari design going on in the swoosh as well. So, and then of course all down here, and this really pops a lot more when you hit the reflective on there, or they hit the flash on there. But this was one I was looking forward to when it was coming up, because I remember seeing them somewhere. Then I'd go to the Nike site every few days, and they popped up. I was like, oh, okay, let me get my pair like right now, so they don't like sell out, because I think everybody's gonna want these. Nobody wanted these. These went on some of the deepest sales man has ever seen. But whatever. I don't mind, paying a little more than I could if I, waited. If, again, it's something that I really want. And in that case, that's what it was. Another box, shoe box, with shoes in it. This is the Vapormax Plus in a whole bunch of colors. So I think I wore these, like the first day of spring or something. I was like, let me wear something that's kind of vibrant. So yeah, these right here, the Vapormax Plus, definitely one of my favorite models. That was the whole theme for that particular week, was wearing my favorite models, right? And this one, like when they brought this out, because I was like, I like the Vapormax thing, I like the Air Max Plus. If they're going to combine these, that should be good, right? And I bought it was like a sunset pair at first, and that was really cool. And I ended up buying like 3 or 4 more over the rest of like the year or something like that. And this one I think came along the year after, perhaps. But this right here is just one of my most liked models because they're so freaking comfortable, If I would like them to re-release them with like the modern day Vapormax bottom, like the one that they did on like the 20s and 21s, because it's so much better. But I still can't really say anything bad about these. So that's one that will always have some high marks from me. Let's see. Actually, let's put that there. And then, continuing that week, for some reason, that was like a busy week. I was wearing like a lot of shoes. Air Max 2010, right? So, like I was saying before, I like the black and the gold, the black and the neon. I do like the black and the gold, like University Gold too. But the black and the gold, Jesus, just said it again. You know what I'm saying. I like these a lot. And the 2010, was kind of like the 2009, where it's one of those models that I really got into. But yeah, Nike just doesn't really bring back those older styles at all. Like I've seen some 2009s pop up over the years, but I don't think I've seen a 2010 outside of 2010, you know? And so when was it? Yeah, and these were like June. Actually, these were June 20, yeah, June 2010. So yeah, it'd be nice to have more of these, but you know, my hands are tied. And what sucks is like when I do wear those, it's like I'm hoping that nothing goes wrong, like they don't like pop on me or whatever. Moving along, what is this? The 15, right? Yeah, this is gonna be the Air Max 2015. So this is kind of where they kind of started to dwindle down into obscurity for me at least. So it's not terrible, right? It's just that I just wasn't into this as much as I would have wanted to be. Because again, like I'm a big Air Max guy, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna like every Air Max, right? So this was one of those ones where I was like, it's not a bad design, you know. I like it's got like the external flywire type of thing going on and all that stuff, but I don't know. It just a bit of a swing and a bit of a miss, if you will. So that was the 15. This will be the 16, right? So there you go. This is an Air Max 2016. They took some things about the 15, switched it up just a little bit, kind of kept some of the same stuff. Hey, hello to you, Poodle. I see you were commenting on some of the things on the 2015 there. But yeah, so the 16 here, I really like this colorway. This is like this, I forget what they call it, Midnight Nate or Midnight Crimson or something like that. Dark Crimson. Either way, this little blood red thing that they have going on down here, kind of mixed in with the upper with like that gray. This is one of my favorite colorway shoes just in general. Like of all the things that I have, this is one. I wish the model itself was as high up for me, but these these I really like. But yeah, so they took the stuff about the 2015 and then they were like, okay, let's keep some things but tweak some things. And this is this is solid. Like I've got no complaints about these. So, but I think that's my only 2016. And then this would be a 2017, right? There you go. Air Max 2017, right? So like you go from like the 2016 to this and it's like this is not this isn't a great way to end, but this is what they ended with because after this they started doing the Vapormax things in 2018, right? That's when the Vapormax 1 came out and all that stuff. So yeah, it wasn't the best, and I still see these like releasing like nowadays every several months at like Finish Line and stuff. I think there's a pair there right now in like gray if you wear the right size or whatever. I remember seeing them and thinking like, who's buying these? Let's see. Hey, Gigantor, what's going on? Great to see. Yeah, it's been a while. I'm starting to get back into doing stuff. I've recorded like a whole bunch of reviews over the last like week or something. But I think I'm gonna put up my quarterly pickups video probably like in the next day or two. So that way people, if they're wondering if I've been buying anything and what I've been buying, they can see that. And then if they want to watch the reviews that I post later, they'll know which ones to look for, right? Because I don't really care for everybody to watch everything I do because I wouldn't watch everything I do, right? And I do it. So to ask anybody else to do it, there's a little bit of hypocrisy in there, and I'm not about that. All right. Okay, we are just about done. Just about done. This right here, I am not a fan of the Vapormax 2019. Most of it comes down to this here weird meshy upper. It's great if it's like raining and you're just trying to like keep your feet dry. Like that part of it, fantastic, right? But it just gives it a weird sort of feel that I'm not super into. But this particular one right here, so 20 San Diego Comic-Con 2018, the last year they actually had one. 2019, excuse me. 2019, my mom and I like we wore Vapormax 2019s there, you know, because that was like the shoe that I bought us for that year because we go like almost every year. And so these do have like some sort of memory for that reason, right? Which is a good thing, you know, if you have some shoes, you don't want to just have shoes. You want to at least like them or have some kind of attachment, right? So for me, that's usually where it comes in. It's like the memories or whatever. outside of like other Air Max things, I just buy them because I like them. So moving right along, but yeah, like that pair also kind of reminds me of in some ways, it kind of reminded me of the Bordeaux sevens, which was actually my first pair of sevens. So these right here, I was like, yeah, this is this is one that I'm gonna get. I also got the Throwback Future color, which was the only other 95 that I liked, and the Screen Green. The Screen Green I actually got early because sometimes you're just living near the right place. So Nike by You things, right? So you got these little labels up there because I put those there. It's obviously area code things. A lot of you might understand how that works if you're from around here in the states and stuff. It's not quite showing up like it really is, but this is wait, oh, what year was my first San Diego Comic Con? It was 2013, and I've gone every year since then. I actually just found out like last week that they're actually doing it this year. I've had my ticket for 2020 since 2019, and they just kept moving it over to the next year. So I guess I'll be going to San Diego in like 4 months or whenever July is. So that's something to look forward to. And SummerSlam is like the next week, so I might be going to that as well. These right here, this is a light Zitron color, right? It's not showing up right in here, right? But it's basically like a very weird sort of highlighter yellow. It's like a very faded highlighter yellow sort of color. But it's one that I like. They didn't have a lot of options when I was getting these 97s made, but this was the one that I liked. And one thing I will say, if you're looking at getting a pair of these Nike Bayous, what side is that on? One of these Nike Bayous, right? They actually come in like super fast because they'll tell you it'll take like a month or whatever. But I want to say from the date that I put my order in to the date that they were at my door was like 9, maybe 10 days, something like that. So they're made in Vietnam, if I recall correctly, shipped from there. And yeah, they're quick with these. Like I get my Nike by You orders like faster than I get some of my like just normal right off the shelf from Nike orders, which is strange to me. Let's see, wonderful weather and women. Yeah, I am looking forward to going because like I haven't been to San Diego since like I said 2019, man, and it's an awesome place to like kill a few days, especially like in that time of the year. Well, maybe all times of the year. I don't even know because like, I haven't really been there outside of Comic Con, right? Well, I took a road trip through there in like 2012, but even that was in the same month. Let's see. Make sure the barrel. Let's see. What is this? Make sure to hit up the Barrel Taco Shop in Encanto. I will do my best to remember that. Man, like there was I remember going to like a pizza place there. I can't remember the name. Was it Basic? But it was like during the daytime. It was a pizza place, and then I was walking around with a friend of mine, and we walked into this like nightclub bar thing or whatever. And I'm looking around like, man, this place looks familiar. It was the same place. We just walked in through a different door, and apparently, like, after a certain time of night, they just turned it into like a nightclub, and like people are dancing and all that. There's music playing. I was like, is this the pizza place? It was crazy to me. But it was a cool atmosphere on both sides because like it's like a Subway in a way with the pizza where you look at all the toppings and you pick what you want and then they make it fresh for you. This is something that I not so huge into the Air Max 720. Let's see. Yeah, yeah, pizza. A good pizza is like that's a hard thing to beat, like because it's good anytime. You know what I'm saying? It's a thing that I don't have to be in the mood for. There's some food where like I kind of have to want to have it. You know what I'm saying? And people are like, oh, like you want to go get Indian or something, like I'm not really in the mood for that. But like pizza, it's like, well, where are you trying to go? You know? But yeah, these right here, the 720, I just how do you guys feel? Like seriously though, because this this is just not it for me, right? And I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, you got to wear them, break them in, blah blah blah." I get that, right? I know that that is totally a thing, right? But for me, it's like if something is going to be X price, and then all the other things that are X price are more comfortable and look better, like right out of the box, it kind of makes me not care about these, right? And so this one right here, I bought one, and then I bought one, like, tried going like a size up. Somebody was saying, like, well, try doing that. It might work out better. And I still didn't like it. It's just, I don't know. And then they put this midsole on like so many things that year. They were really pushing this one hard. And it just, I mean, there are some people, like I said, that love those, and there are some people that just loathe those. I'm in the latter group. And ending with the 270, right? This one came out earlier that year. Let's see, anything with pizza, I'm down. I had the True 720 that got returned. Not a fan of 720. Like, yeah, the colorway is good, but because sometimes, like, I have shoes that like aren't the most comfortable, but I like the look and I like the color, and it's comfortable enough to just kind of suck it up and deal with it, right? It's like these, right? Like, I'm not a huge fan of the 270. It's fine, but like I just don't see the appeal that a lot of people see. But to me, when I compare this to me is like Adidas's NMD, in that the comfort is not amazing, but the color selection is like out of this world, right? Like, whatever color you like there's probably a few 270s to choose from. It's probably a few NMDs to choose from. So, and the price is really good. But it's just, past that, whatever. But this one, see in there, it's got like the Air Max Day date, right? Kind of see that maybe. There we go. So, because this was an Air Max Day release for whatever year that was. Like I said, was it? Actually, no, these came out the year before the 720. So this would have been 18. Yeah, this was 18. The 720 was 19. Because I remember very clearly. So another like side story, whatever. I remember when I was looking at the 720s, and that was back when I used to like watch reviews a little bit more. Nowadays, I only watch them because my friends make them. So I remember watching a Fomer Simpson review because like he was talking about the 720, and I was like watching it. Like, I think I watched it like multiple times. So like I kept getting distracted, and like I wanted to know how they fit like sizing wise or something. And so I just remember thinking like, man, like why can't you just say what I want, right? That is part of the reason I put like timestamps in my videos, because I don't like having to wait for the information that I want. I want to just get to it and be done with it. So I cater to that audience. So if people want to show up and just see the on feed, there you go. Timestamp 9 minutes, 15 seconds. Jump to it, watch your piece, move on with your day. You're welcome. I saved you some time. But not everybody thinks like that, and I totally get it, because there's a little more value in having people watch the full videos, especially if you have ads, because then you make some more money. Also, so when I'm indoors, I do wear a lot of slides, and through Air Max month, I wore only these Air Max 90 slides, right? So you got this right here. This is going to be the infrareds, right? A lot of people were really into the infrared 90s when they were coming out last year or whenever, 2 years ago at this point. And I get it. They are a nice looking shoe. I bought the 90 slide and the infrared 97 because I'm a 97 guy. Though these corks, I kind of had to have those. I got these I also got the 90 cork shoe and the 97 cork shoe, but I got those in like the denim color, not was this coconut or something? I think they called it. And that whole thing started off with this right here, which was the Volt, because again, I like the gray in the Volt. And I actually got a lot of views off of this because some magazine webpage, it's a webpage for a magazine in Denmark, like shared my video in one of their articles for whatever reason. I couldn't read the article, so I don't know what they were saying about my video or the shoe in general, but they shared it, and like the view count was like crazy. Like, to this day, it still ranks like pretty high as far as like, external traffic and blah, blah, blah. So it's got a nice little spike in there. And then just the fact that I was probably the only person willing to spend like $80 on a pair of slides at the time meant that I had like one of the few reviews out there. So that was cool. But yeah, so we did it, right? That's everything. Fantastic. Man, that took an hour and a half. No, What time? No, I started right at 5:50, so an hour. Okay, not bad. So, but feel free to leave whatever questions in there you guys want to talk about. I have a couple of boxes to open up real quick. Here, it's mostly just like Nike running. I pointed this like it's also a Nike running shirt, but I just have some Nike running shirts to open up. $80, you might as well buy the whole. Exactly, right? Because I saw that and I'm like, $80, like, or it might have been 75, but at that point, what's the difference? I'm like, why? But don't get me wrong, like I do really like them. Like I'm in the minority probably, but like that's my favorite slide, right? And I've got a decent variety. I've got the Yeezy slides. I'm wearing these right now because I'm wearing only new shoes for the month of April because that's just how that works. So I've got various Adidas ones. There's some Adalettes. I got the Boost slides, of course. I got some Cork Adidas slides. There's something else over there. So I've got like a number of shoes to choose from when it comes to that. But for whatever reason, that's just that's the one. Because the one thing that kind of sucks is it's like this graded type of feeling or whatever. But I'd imagine if you don't wear socks in them, that might not feel so great. But I do, so that's a non-factor for me. But I do like the heel impact being absorbed with this here bubble in the back. So that is what gets me to buy those. And 45. Now the other pairs that I bought, I paid I had a slight discount on the 90s, which basically took them down to it was almost like just not paying taxes or shipping. You know what I mean? Like it was probably just like still like $80. But it's kind of one of those, 10% off? Okay. But yeah, when I bought the other pairs, those were at a discount. Is there even for a second, like it looked like there was nothing in here, but like, did they just sell me wrapping paper? That'd be a Nike move. You know what I'm saying? But now, like, I realized I don't have a lot of Nike running shirts, and so since I'm trying to get back into doing that, I needed to buy some more. So let's see, those footbeds were everywhere in Nike shoes. Big Roshi. The Roshi or Roshi? It is Roshi, right? Is that how you say that? That is one that I completely missed out on because that was around the time when I found out about Prestos and Hirachis, and the Roshi just looked so plain and generic. I was like, what is this? But yeah, so I needed some more Nike running shirts because I only have like two, and I usually run like 3 times a week. So I picked up some of those. Now here's the thing though, right? These that I'm opening, right? This is my second time buying these shirts because the first time I bought them, it's like 6 of them here. It's like $150 almost, right? And I had the box and I apparently threw it away. So all those shirts that I had bought, I basically had to buy again because I threw them in the garbage the first time. And it was like, it was a good deal. Like when I bought them, because it's like, oh man, these are all like X% off. But now, like buying them again, like that whole good deal thing is certainly by the wayside because now I basically paid more than retail to have the same thing, which is stupid to me. But I needed some shirts, so I just kind of had to suck it up. It's a first world problem, people, right? So yeah, a lot of dry fit type things. These are really comfortable though, because I have a couple others already somewhere around here. Where's that knife? This was a gift from some of you guys know BX. He sent me this a while ago because he was like, "You need a knife. Stop using scissors." He's kind of looking down on me for my scissor lifestyle. Let's see. You hit it like Master Roshi. Let's see. Shoes. What do you prefer, Presto Hirachi? So that's a tough one. 'Cause, like I think about that question every so often, right? Because for some reason, like, if I'm deciding like what to wear for the day, so in some ways, I prefer the comfort midsole wise of the Hirachi, but I like that the Presto has less going on with it, right? I like minimalistic things, right? So that's why outside of like Like the Jordan 8 is kind of an anomaly for me because there's a lot of stuff, and the 5, but I like both of those. But there's just a lot of stuff. But yeah, so I prefer the Presto from a visual standpoint, right? I can't say that I don't. But the Hirachi, it's really comfortable too, you know? Like I think like that extra thickness in there kind of gives it the edge as far as that goes. So this is one of those times where as much as I would like to give you a straight up answer, I kind of just can't. But I will say overall from last was it last year? Last year, like the Hirachis were definitely like winning because they were getting all kinds of good colors. So I don't know if you were paying attention or whatever. I reviewed a decent number of them. I think I did like 6 to 7 Hirachi reviews last year, something like that. And they were all like mostly fantastic. Let's see, another gray one here. This one just has a Nike swoosh on it. So the advantage to having multiples of these is like I don't have to, because you know, like when I do laundry, it's like I do it in like groups. You know, it's like athletic wear, like you know, t-shirts, tank tops. You know, so this way I can have multiple things, and I don't have to like be rushing to do like laundry to have more clean running clothes. A black one because you know I'm partial to black. You know, it's something I was born into. Let's see what's going on here. I prefer Hirachi. Okay, let's see. I prefer Hirachi myself. All right. Comfort, style, and overall colorways for Hirachi. Yeah. Let's see. I do like my What the Presto. Okay, yeah, I remember those. That Hulk Hogan lightning bolt. The slide. Hey, Marcus Robinson, what's going on? What's going on? The Nike slides. Yes, they are. Well. Hey, I was just talking about you. I was talking about this knife you got me like ages ago at this point. It feels like forever ago. But I was just using it, opening up boxes and stuff. Talking about how I got a good deal on some shirts and then had to buy them all over again. This one, so it's not a, so this is a weird one, right? This is a trail, well, it's trail ready or something or whatever, but it's got like this thing on the back, which is almost like a pocket. You see that? I don't know what's going on with that. Like maybe somebody out there knows more about this than I do. Maybe it's kind of like that whole gator situation on my Trabuco Maxes and my was it the Pegasus or the Peregrines? I buy a lot of trail shoes, right? So I end up with those, and then some of them have those little gator latches on the bottom to where you can attach gators to your shoe, right? Gaiter, not Gator, because you can't tie like a gator to your shoe because it would weigh you down, obviously. Let's see. The 30th anniversary did the Hirachi hella favors. They brought back a lot of great colors, fixed the shape, and made them so plush. You know, there, and again, like it kind of comes back to some things where, like I was saying about the pluses, where some of those Hirachis they were a little misleading in some ways because some of them, like the was it the Escape or the Desert Oak, one of those, like you know how you get used to like the Hirachis being like a this breathable mesh sort of thing, and those were not that. You know, don't get me wrong, still super comfortable, awesome color, no complaints. It's just when you open them up, you're like, okay, like I can still work with this. It's just not what I expected. It's kind of like I do have another pair of wheat shoes. I have a pair of wheat Hirachis. Forgot about those. Or flax, as they're called on the side of the box. It's like those, right? It's a slightly different material, but it works. It definitely works. One more of these boxes, and that should be the end of that. Let's see here. Actually, wait a second. Well, that's right. You know what? I thought I had thrown this out because I threw out a lot of similar boxes. So all these shirts that you're seeing right here are all doubles of the ones that I just opened. Huh. How did I not notice that? That's a question for me, not for you, obviously, kind of rhetorical, but sometimes when you're live, you say stuff out loud. So that's something. a waste of $150 is what that is. 160 to be closer to accurate. But whatever. What's done is done. I'll deal with it later. What are you guys talking about in here? Let's see. So nothing. Okay. So before I go getting things wrapped up, because I only like to do my lives for so long. Like, I don't want to force you guys to like sit here and like watch me try to come up with something to talk about. Is there anything you guys got on your minds or whatever? Because I've been a little lazy with the comment section lately. Not replying to everything as quickly as I normally do. But in these live settings is when you're going to get more of an answer because it's easier to talk something out than to try to type something out. So like if you had asked like what I prefer, like Prestos or Hirachis in the comments, I'm like, it kind of depends on the day, I'd probably say something like that. Because while true, it's easier, right? But it's not the best answer because it's not like the fullest answer. You know what I'm saying? That's a question that I have been asking myself. I always have plenty of ideas. How about you, vlogging with Demetrius? How would you feel about doing a sneaker battle? Hmm? Let me put that question out there to you. Because it can be hard to get people to do those because, for one, I end up dealing with people's like schedules, right? And that's not easy to do because if I have two people and trying to deconflict things, like me, my schedule crazy open, right? Like I've got nothing going on. I mean, I have school stuff, but that's online. I do YouTube things, but that's online. Um, and my work schedule is like 8 hours, 8 hours a day, like no more, no, well, sometimes less. And if I do more, then I just do less the next day. So there's that. So, and it's super predictable. So I can do one at the drop of a hat for the most part. But the last live that I did was actually a sneaker battle, for those who don't know. And it was me versus Jeezy, right? And so I kind of like doing those because that way I can sit back, I'll show off a little bit of my collection. There's no pressure on people like to, that they have to win or whatever because it's just all fun and games. But at some point, I wouldn't mind doing another one, me versus whoever is up for it. But I would also like to do the standard one where I invite people on. We do like the whole voting thing. We have two people go head to head. I make whatever scenario and all that stuff. So, anyways, getting back to your question, because I rambled on a lot of stuff that doesn't really relate. I don't know, man. I would like to do one. I just need people that want to do one. I mean, kind of a cop out answer, but I just don't have a real one. So did some, yeah, see, BX he heard it. Let's see, now that my collection has grown a little more, I would love to do it. I don't have a set schedule, makes it unpredictable. I enjoy your battles because it's not based. Okay, cool. Tell you what, next time like at least like a couple days in advance when you're going to for sure have like a free evening, right? Let me know and I'll see about clearing my schedule, which normally, if anything, my schedule in the evening consists of watching AEW Dynamite or the occasional SmackDown or something, or maybe a pay-per-view. But yeah, let me know, and we can definitely work something out. I'll get a whole new set of questions because for anybody who hasn't seen mine, usually the way they're structured, it's a lot of like, what's your recommendation for like most comfortable shoe? What's a shoe that reminds you of your childhood? What's your pull out like something that you bought last year that you didn't think you'd be able to pull off. Things like that, right? I don't care to see like what's your most expensive this or like pull out like an original Jordan something. It's like everybody's collections are built the way they're built. They're built based around what you're into. For me, I have a lot of running shoes, right? Like a huge, huge portion of my collection is running shoes. And the part that isn't like straight up running shoes is something like this, where it's kind of like a retro. Well, this is a bad example, but like those retro running shoes, like the Shadow 6000s and stuff like that, you know. And then you have like this little subcategory of like Yeezys and Jordans. So I try to cater to everybody so that anybody can just show up on here and just go through, do like a best of 7 or something, depending on the person, figure out what they're comfortable with, and just go from there. It makes it a lot more entertaining, and it kind of keeps conversation going because we just sit here and we're just reminiscing about things, talking about things. It's actually a pretty good time, and I do kind of miss doing it. It's just, it sucks because it can be hard to get them set up. Let's see. I have to watch. Yeah, I just watched last week's Dynamite last night. Let's see. I have thought about doing live stream post rest. Yeah, I was supposed to do a live for Royal Rumble, but I ended up going to my parents' house because I like mistimed some things. And the next big pay-per-view is SummerSlam, and I might be at SummerSlam, so that might not be possible. Double or Nothing is probably coming around. That's got to be soon. The AEW pay-per-view. But I don't know, man. Like I'm looking at doing like a wrestling show, like watch along thing. I often do those with Impact, or yeah, I also often do those with Impact shows sometimes because I can just sit down, just talk to people, watch that. It's usually a good time. But I'll let you know the next time I'm planning to do one. And usually those are like open invitations, so I'll just place the link in the chat and people can join if they want to. That's how my lives usually are. This one, it was a little more one-sided, right? Because it was just me talking about the things that I wore during Air Max month and complaining about why I don't like certain things, and then realizing also that I bought a bunch of shirts that I didn't need to buy again. How did I not notice that? I'm still very confused as to how that played out. Whatever. Either way, so since that seems to be it, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. It's been about an hour and 11 minutes, according to StreamYard's little counter here. So first off, though, thanks to the people that came by. It was good kind of doing this, catching up with people, talking about some random stuff. So I can't say when the next one will be. Actually, wait, I can. Or maybe I can. I had an idea for a live, but I'm not sure if I'll do that as a live or an actual video. If there's a suggestion to anybody that's listening, when I do stuff like, it's going to be like a top 10 type of list thing, right? So would you rather see it done as a live, or would you rather see it done as a video? Because I can sit here and I can knock out videos all day, right? Especially the ones that take no editing. But sometimes doing them and talking to people and having some feedback during the course of it or whatever can be pretty cool. And it takes overall less time because even though there's no real editing, I still have to like get a thumbnail put together, send it through Premiere, do some cuttings, some picture quality adjustments, get it uploaded, all that stuff. So yeah, so far the vote is 100% in favor of live stream. So if somebody sways it, and even if you're not there to watch it when it happens, that's fine. It doesn't matter. Because again, it's just something I've been kind of back and forth on. And if I do that, is that set for tomorrow? Because I don't know about you, Mr. Demetrius, but I usually draw out, like when I have a lot of videos to cover, I'll usually go through and I'll like label everything that I plan to do so I can break it out. So my next one was supposed to be today, but I had to switch today, and I did the Blueprint Air Maxes. I did my quarterly pickups for the first quarter of 2022 and this Air Max month thing. So tomorrow it's looking like an A6 Gel Light 3 review, and that's when I was also going to do that video, which might now be a live. So I might be sitting right here again, more or less this time tomorrow, doing this whole thing all over again. So we'll see. And then Wednesday, I had to record my AEW crate review and open a whole bunch of action figures that have been piling up in boxes over there. So yeah, so that's me and what I'm doing for the week. And Out of This World says, I'm ready for a battle. Okay, I don't recognize your name or anything like that, but I appreciate that. Just be in touch, right? The thing is, I will often throw something on like Instagram or something to kind of gauge interest, put a little video on there, right? I do a lot of 60-second clips because they're all made for Instagram. And, you know, before they started making reels and shorts, that was just kind of my thing. And now it's sort of blown out of proportion, so I kind of dialed back on it. But every so often, I'll still knock one of those out, right? And I'll ask for people that are into it. If you happen to not be an Instagram sort of guy, you might not see that. I totally get it. I will often double post things. So if you see something that's 60 seconds or less on here, it came from over there. So if you pay attention over here, then you can respond to it over here. But what I've noticed is that when it comes to the shorts, a lot of people either ignore those or don't see them or some combination of both, right? Because they're kind of just, the way things are just jumbled up sometimes in like the YouTube things, some stuff is kind of off to the side, whereas like the actual videos are like front and center, which is kind of what I prefer. So long story short, you got to kind of pay attention to like when I'm asking about doing those or whatever, because I like doing them. It's just if I put the word out and I don't get any response, it's kind of like when I do my giveaways. If I don't get any response, then I just don't do a giveaway, right? It happens. And if I don't get any response, I just don't do a battle. So the next one will likely be me versus Demetrius at some point in the hopefully near future. If you can, Mr. Demetrius, maybe we can get that knocked out before the end of the month. That'd be cool. Because I don't think I really have anything scheduled. I mean, I can look real quick just to make sure, because usually concerts is the other thing. Jack White is playing next weekend, and Beartooth is also playing next weekend with Silverstein. I'm more of a Silverstein guy. So those days, I'm kind of like busy. But outside of that, yeah. Oh, actually, no, that's this week that they're playing. So I get tickets. I got tickets for Silverstein, but not for Jack White. Any Jack White fans out there? It's got some good stuff. So, same with Silverstein. And if you're Canadian, maybe they're local to you. I think they're from Toronto. Anyway, so yeah, got some stuff coming up, but I can definitely like get that in, no problem. I'd like to do it by the end of the month. No pressure. I'm not a pressure kind of guy. If you can do that, fantastic. If you can't, that's also fantastic. Okay. I'll keep in touch when I can be available. That's all I ask. I try not to be a man that asks for too much. You know what I'm saying? So, but that being that, anything else before I go getting out of here? If there is, start typing it out while I, close things up. For me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I'm guessing for a lot of you, it's probably evening time because it's only 7 over here in Virginia land. So, and I don't know where everybody else is. I honestly have no idea. But hopefully, you enjoyed sitting back here hanging out with me. I enjoyed hanging out with you guys. It was cool. It's very relaxing to do these, which is another reason that I like to do lives versus videos for certain things. Because I almost did this as a video. I'm like, no, I just did like the Corley thing. I did my ASICS one a while ago as an actual video. I'm going to do this way. Let's see. Giveaway. You missed the last giveaway. Who won that? Logan J. Bees or something like that won that giveaway. What was that? Like, that would have been at the very end of Air Max month, right? Yeah. It's like one of the last couple days of March was my last giveaway. Yeah. So I'd have to check my spreadsheet where I keep track of all my financial spendings for like YouTube things, only out of curiosity. Like it's not like tax deductible or anything. I just get curious as to who I've given money to and how much and when and all that stuff. BX, see, now he's throwing his name out there. Okay, maybe I'll have to make a post soon, so I can get all this information in one single place. We'll see. Do one of my little shorts again. It's been a little while. Actually, no, it hasn't. I just did one a couple days ago. It just hasn't been posted yet. But either way, so noted for BX and vlogging and whoever out of this world may be. Did you ever have another name, Mr. World? or should I call you Out, if you want to go by your first name. But for now that things are looking like they're in the clear, it looks like I'm gonna go deal with some network things, help my friend out. His little business, he's apparently like if you things aren't set up a certain way, like you can be fined or something, and he's got some issues going on, and he's not sure what he's supposed to do about it. So, go and see if I can hopefully shed some light on it and make things right. Did it last year, but something, I guess there's a new thing that has come up. So, gonna go deal with that, it looks like. So, again, thanks for everybody that came through. I definitely appreciate it. I'll get another one of these lives at some point. Like I said, probably tomorrow. In the meantime, one thing I forgot until I looked at the screen, Sneaker Hearts, they're the ones that made this shirt. Check them out on the YouTubes under Fast Asleep. Also, check them out on the internet at Instagram or whatever. They basically they give shoes to like the homeless people, the kids, like unfortunate people, It's a good thing, So if you got some shoes to donate and you're not sure what to do with them because they're a little like older than you want them to be, you can send them on over to them, or you can always send a little financial donation, help them, cover their gas money of like driving all around Chicago delivering shoes and such. So there is that. Oh, BX is still playing in the woods with his friends. Well, whenever you're not doing that, let me know, man. You got my number, right? Yeah. But I'll just to make sure, I'll send you the old text message after this, just to make sure you still have it. But for now, again, thanks again, everybody. This was a pretty good time, and I'll probably be back tomorrow. Maybe I'll see some of you then. Maybe I won't. No pressure, as always. Again, thanks. Later, people. Where's this end broadcast button? I always lose that. There we go.